absurd in the current bill to deal with the Equalization Fund. Although we are dealing with the devolution units, Mr. Speaker, there is very little participation of the Senate or the counties in the dispensation of these monies. Mr. Speaker, what is even more absurd, that the CRA is supposed to have done the apportionment in consultation with the Senate and in consultation with quite a number of interested parties, and unfortunately that did not happen. Mr. Speaker, despite serious presentations that Makueni gets Equalization Fund, Machakos did and Kitui did. The reason given that Makueni did not get Equalization Fund was that the railway passes through there, and especially now the new railway. Mr. Speaker, the truth of the matter is that the railway and even the highway, which goes through Makueni for almost 200 kilometers, does not benefit the locals at all. If anything, upon the coming of the new railway station, the railway gauge, most towns in Makueni on Mombasa Road were shut down and business went down, and the locals suffered a lot more than it would have benefited. It is only recently, Mr. Speaker, when the trucks came back, some of the towns started coming back to life, and therefore that cannot be a reason advanced by CRA to deny Makueni. The other reason advanced by CRA to deny Makueni, even a little apportionment of these monies, was that in Makueni we have a lot of educated people, a lot of people in Makueni have gone through education, they are graduates, and therefore they must be working and taking monies back home. Far from it, Mr. Speaker. Although we have many educated people, most of them are jobless, have not had an opportunity to work in an organization or even start their own businesses. And therefore, the numbers of the many educated people of Makueni, many young people who are graduates, does not equate into any monies coming to the county of Makueni. And this argument has been used by CRA to deny us even the allocation for the counties, and not even under Equalization Fund. And this, under the Constitution, was supposed to deal with water, was supposed to deal with electricity, was supposed to deal with roads, and was supposed to deal with health. As far as roads are concerned, our biggest problem are bridges. And some of the roads which are maintained by Kera or Kenha in Makueni County have very poor bridges. And this weekend, Mr. Speaker, we suffered quite a number of people being washed by rivers when it rained heavily. And Mr. Speaker, I almost became a victim, of one of those low bridges where the water it blocked people, so that when you are traveling, you are unable to go back, nor are you able to go front. And quite a number of lorries, transporting food, against the misconception that, when a vehicle is heavy, will go through a river. Far from it, Mr. Speaker. So long as the water of a river or a bridge is above half of the tire, the vehicle has every chance of being ferried away by that river, for it becomes, very light, because you see the tires are pressured. Mr. Speaker, that has been a very big problem in Makueni. The bridges, the rivers, and the roads. And again, also, electricity has not gone into every place in Makueni. And similarly, although we are doing Thwake Dam, which has delayed as to when it would have been functional by now, we'll be having the dam now. But by now, there has been delays in payments of contractor. There has been delays in terms of implementation. And the dam, which should be beginning to serve the people of Makueni, Kitui, and Machakos, and Kajiado, and Konza City, has not yet been, implemented. It is slowed, eventually to be completed. And I'm working very hard as a senator, and started this when I was a member of Parliament of Makueni, to make sure the Thwake Dam is actualized. But still, that's not enough to deny the people of Makueni Equalization Fund. Mr. Speaker, in terms of health, we still have a lot of dispensaries which have not been brought to a level whereby mothers can deliver there, because that's the biggest need. Children's life, when a child has an emergency, there are those little emergencies of a child. You know, when a mother rushes to a nearby dispensary, when a child cannot breathe, and a lot of time they lock up, there is a technology used. And although the government of Makueni the county government of Makueni is making every effort to do with the health funds have never fully been devolved from Nairobi. The agriculture funds have never fully been devolved from Nairobi. So again, when the CRA goes on to deny Makueni simply because the railway gauge passes through there, honestly, Mr. Speaker, and Madam Speaker, there is a very big problem there. And despite the many presentations the leadership of Makueni, including myself, have made to CRA, and the CRA have even stated Makueni, having just emerged from a drought, and whereby Makuenians have suffered a great deal, and having not been equalized, this equalization fund has now become something which does not depict the meaning of equalization. The whole idea of equalization under the Constitution was to make sure that counties or regions or constituencies which have been disadvantaged over the years since we got independence and some services have not reached there, this fund should be available to make sure that this fund should be available to make sure that that particular area is equalization has taken place, and I had said on electricity, water, health, and roads. And therefore, that particular case has not been accepted by CRA, and I want to state that also. Since this equalization fund started, it has never been taken into any count. It has never been implemented. And for the first time, we have come up with a bill which is planning to implement this. But unfortunately, and I want to state it very clearly as a lawyer of many years of experience, this bill ends up being discriminative and therefore unconstitutional as it stands. We are debating an illegal bill. We are dealing with a bill which, even in its allocation of the funds, some of the allocations which have been done to some of other counties are just ridiculous. You give a whole county 43 million shillings. Even CDF gives better money than that. What will you do? You claim now you have equalized a county by just giving it 43 million shillings. It's ridiculous. It could have, probably if it was 43 billion to a county, which is disadvantaged, it will make sense. But when you send just 43 million, will it do a health center? If so, how many health centers will it do? Will it do electricity? If so, how much of it? To how many villages? Will it do a bridge? I don't think so. In a river which keeps on sweeping people, bridges, an average bridge of an average river costs close to 400 million if you really want to save lives or you want to get serious as a country. So I don't think CRA was serious at all. And I don't think the government is serious at all. We are bringing this bill, which is for the budget of 2022-2023. This is how ridiculous it is. And this is how counties have suffered under the governments since devolution started. You pass the money or bring the money to a county the last month of a financial year. What development can this bill do? So we have before us a ridiculous bill, a bill the government is not serious about, a bill which is not implementable, and a bill which is mocking some of the counties, and a bill also which has discriminated Makueni County as a county. And I really want to tell CRA, this is not the end of the Makueni people represented by myself on this floor. I am proceeding to the High Court to make sure that this bill is described as unconstitutional and therefore fails and cannot take place and cannot be implemented in this nation when Makueni people who are suffering most and are top in suffering as far as water is concerned, electricity is concerned, roads are concerned, and health are concerned, more than any other county in this country, and probably only follows, the arid counties. It's a seriously arid county. We have seen counties which are not arid included here. In fact, we should rethink the whole idea of equalization fund. Probably equalization should take place in every county, but then proportionate according to the problems of that county. Because even if you come to Nairobi, there are people living in the slums. They have no health, they have no water, Do they need to be equalized to those who live where there are such things? Go to a county, any other county you pick, which has been denied these monies, you'll still find there are disadvantaged people. So the whole idea of our constitution on equalization fund has not been met. And not only am I going to fight this bill in this house, it is an illegal bill. Even if you use your numbers and pass it, I'm still going to challenge that decision in court. Now that recently we already created precedents that whatever court order comes from court, then this house must obey. And I believe now I must do this because you have created precedents. Go to court, stop this bill. In fact, I'm instructing my lawyers this afternoon. I'm going to give them a copy of this bill so that we fail it and so that CRA can learn to do their jobs properly, to consult the senators. Which senator, if any, was ever consulted when this bill was being implemented? None of it. If you look at the team on the ground which sits to deal with this, the senator is not one of them. They have representatives of CDF. They have, somebody from the provincial administration, a county commissioner or an assistant county commissioner. They are the people who sit there. Which representative of senator sat there? Then you bring the bill to Senate to pass it when you never consulted the Senate. That fails on the part of public participation. I can assure you there was no public participation, proper public participation or legal public participation on this bill. What happened was just some people pretending that they are consulting on this bill, did not consult sufficiently, did not consult Treasury, did not consult the senators, did not consult the people who deal with this, did not consult the committee, or even the Attorney General, who should be giving a proper interpretation on what this means. And if you look at the total amount of money which has been sent for equalization to help counties or regions or villages who are disadvantaged, you realize that they did not follow the law at all. So then how do you come up, and if you look at the budget, it's so small. It does not fall under the category of equalization fund, although it was supposed to be increased with the time and to take part of this. If you check what the senator for Turkana contributed yesterday, that he himself has to cross rivers physically. He has to abandon his car, cross a river, and the mothers and children are expected to cross that river to go to a dispensary, and there's no bridge. And then you give him monies in Turkana, which cannot even make one bridge. It means there's something very wrong with the way we administer this fund, the way we have understood it under the meaning of the Constitution, the way this fund is supposed to be dealt with, and it means there is a big problem without public participation. Then there are very many disadvantaged wards because this was supposed to go directly to the wards. There is also loss of, the original idea, which the framers of our Constitution, what they wanted, what they meant, what they wanted done with the Equalization Fund has already been lost in this particular bill. Then when you talk about other basic needs, things like education, really, the CRA, although that's not included in the Constitution, talking about his basic needs, have they covered all of them? During this time of drought, was it not better to have equalization fund to make sure that people who went without food or through schools could be taken care of? Then what has it dealt with? The item, the timelines, really, the budgetary timelines. Why is it being brought to us to pass? And then when it goes to President for assent, and then Treasury doesn't have the funds, and then the financial year is closed, and then no monies can be dispensed. Again, the projects have not been identified. Again, procurement has not. In 2 months, Madam Speaker, is indeed this not ridiculous? Has it not been repeated over the years? And is it not Senator Governor Robert thinks of this? He's gone through this experience. He has gone through this experience as a governor and a very other good governor, Mandago.
Be informed. He has a point of
Yes, if you can inform me, I will appreciate, because he has been through this. When monies arrive, Mr. Speaker, the very last day of